Hello. Y'all know if it needs to be said, I'm going to say it. Okay. So as we watch Carmelo Anthony in Texas, and I'm so glad there are so many people watching, the hate, the the way that they're trying to come after this young man, the way the prosecutors are saying and calling him a vicious murderer, the way they only show his picture, his mug shot. This young man is a stellar student, okay? He has a high GPA. And one of the things that I have not heard yet, and I've heard other people say it, I haven't heard it brought out yet. I'm not sure in court, but what I know is that first of all, the twins that came to attack him, it was two, and they were not even supposed to be at the track meet. Let's start there. There's so many levels about this story that hasn't come out. I also know that they fear. I know day one, if you go back and pull the footage, day one, the twins' dad said, hey, he came out immediately and was like, okay, we don't want to make any judgments or whatever. The way he came out, as calm as he was, it let me know it was a telltale sign that he knew his sons were bullies. He knew, and he wanted to just be calm and clear because he wasn't sure what's going to come up. It's a lot of different footage and a lot of different children, and I know they have been doing all kind of things here in Texas to make sure, they're trying to make sure that this boy goes away. And this is somebody who definitely does not need to be in jail, and he doesn't deserve it. There's going to be a mess either way, because the white community has been making a fuss, and they get to act a fool and get away with stuff, whereas it was black people, they would throw them all in jail or tear gas them and all that kind of stuff. Either way, I don't give a darn. Y'all might as well suck it up and get ready to get mad, because if this trial is really done correctly, that young man should be able to go on with his life. Now, we know he will always have people trying to hate him, because guess what? Like I said, the privilege of being able to just act a fool when you want to, that's a white thing, because black people cannot do it. But if ever there was a sign, if ever there was notes of self-defense, this case has it. The twins were not even supposed to be there. They had bullied him. They had taken his phone. And even one witness says that there's video that show children coming up to witness, because they knew they was finna mess with him again. In other words, they had been getting away with it. Nobody stopped them. Nobody did anything, which is not unlikely, which is not unheard of in Texas, because I know with my son, I had to become a fixture at junior high. Anytime people came at him, it was like, okay, no big deal. But the one time he retaliated, the principal was ready to try to put him out of school. And I remember my son was so upset. And I walked in. I was like, what you crying for? And the principal was like, ma'am, you need to address me. I said, no, you need to hush. I'm talking to my son. And he said they're talking about putting me out of the MST program, which is the Math, Science, and Technology, a program that he earned. I said, absolutely not. I said, if that happens, that man over there will not be principal. He did not like it, but I had to challenge every step of the way. And by the time I got finished, I made it my job. I made it my duty to be at school. And it's hard, because if you're a parent that works and you're trying to move in a career and advance, once again, the privilege of going back and forth or being able to be there for your children, they don't expect black parents to do it. I experienced that on my job. They would always go, well, aren't your children? Well, why do you have to? And I would always tell them, I'm sorry, I have not given you permission to ask me those questions. If I tell you I need to be out for my child, I expect you to treat me just like you treat this person, and this person. Did you not think that black women are involved in the PTA? Did you not think? And then they want to get, oh, honey, I had to call them out several times. It is a fight. That's why when I tell you all that racism goes deep, They expect our children to be latchkey children. They expect us to work late hours and leave them alone. They expect them to grow up by themselves and to not have a parent to come up and say something for them. But God forbid, look, Johnny gets into something. They're going to be there on the spot. They're going to wait for Johnny's parents. His parents are great parents, all of that. Even at the job, I worked with a person that was out for their kids more than anything. They had one. I remember when my family had COVID, all of them, they was like, well, can they not take care of themselves? Now, they never said it to me, but the blabbermouths that did the talking and the gossiping, oh, it got back to me. I just never said anything to them because nobody was ignorant enough to step to me. My point is, there's always a double standard. They want us to be less than, inferior, to not be the great parents so that they can call us whatever they want to call us. There is video footage of a white man standing out with the sign talking about, see, they always, go against the law. They always do. He's making so many stereotype statements and so many racial slurs and provoking and trying to cause all kind of confusion outside of the Collin County Courthouse to just try to make sure that this young man goes away for something he did not do. He's not a murderer. He was in self-defense. But it's always okay as long as it's them. But the minute we defend ourselves, then it's a problem. We are in a dark time, America. We're slipping back. For some of you, I know you're in shock, New School, but this is why it was important that you understood what our forefathers and ancestors went through, how they came out of it, and how they beat the scumbag, the lowest of the low, at their own game. You need to know that. And that's why you saw the movies. That's why you saw the documentary. That's why we never stopped talking about it. That's why we passed on the lessons. Because it doesn't matter what age it is. It doesn't matter what generation. They are teaching the hate. And their children are accepting the teaching. It's been your girl, Candy with Kim. Because if it needs to be said, I'll say it.